Okay, so we've always talked about funding. Funding is obviously the biggest issue for any startup, and I know you spend a lot of your time looking for funding. Um, and so you guys announced this U.S. Capital Group um, partnership. Does this mean that we have funding now?
Yeah, we partner with U.S. Capital and we're working on production funding with them. Nothing in the funding world is a guarantee until the money's in the bank. But we have to close up this crowdfunding, and then U.S. Capital is going to get started. And the plan is that very quickly they can close in on our production funding, and we can start to meet our timing goals and push things forward. But they're a diversified global group, and they've done tons of deals, and they're very, very capable. And we've been nothing but impressed. I mean, we've been working through due diligence with them for the last couple of months. So it's a very rigorous process. But if you have good people on the other side of the equation, then you just work through the work. And they've been very good to work with, and they're excited to get things going. And I dare say, they've done a lot of deals, but Aptera is unique, and hopefully compelling, and something that I think they'll find great success with. So,
Do you know what their success rate is when they take on clients? Are they like 90% successful in their 50%, 100%,
well, it's a good
10%?
question. I can't speak for them,
Uh-huh.
but they take on a lot of different kind of deals with a lot of different kind of structures.
Uh-huh.
So, I would say their success rate is high, and that, if they've structured something with a company, then they know they've structured something that's going to be successful. But the last 2 years have been pretty tumultuous for almost all investment banks. So, I would say that, there's been a lot of investment banks that have had a hard go of it the last few years. And now that we're coming out the other side, and the market seemed to look a little brighter, and they're starting to see more IPOs and more kind of investment deals, I think a lot of them are looking for a strong recovery. But investment banks in general, I think have been looking for some bright spots, and
Mhm.
Aptera is super bright. Solar mobility is hopefully super bright. So I think that U.S. Capital is excited to get going for us, and we're excited to have them.
So is closing down the crowdfunding a stipulation that they made? Like, hey, if we're going to take over, you guys have to close down the crowdfunding.
It's mostly a administrative thing. Big companies like Intel and Microsoft or Google, they could run multiple offerings at the same time and probably keep up with them from a finance and compliance perspective.
Hmm,
But that wasn't the advice that we got.
I
Our lawyer,
see.
it's best to not have concurrent offerings like this, and it's going to be much easier on you guys if you end the crowdfunding and then start your efforts with U.S. Capital. So they agreed, and that's what we're doing.
Have they given you guys a timeline of like, we think we can find you guys funding in a month, 2 months, 6 months?
Yeah, it's mostly once they have the instrument set up and approved,
Mhm.
then they can go out and sell it, and it's certainly a matter of weeks, not months,
I
uh,
see.
for them to close on things like this.
Uh-huh.
So it's I think it's going to be an exciting offering, and we'll release information about it once the SEC FINRA approves, and then we can get going. But the first the first battle is to close the crowdfunding up strong, and keep progress on these PI builds, and hopefully get everybody excited. I've been
Mhm.
talking with the marketing team about how do we open the curtain a little more as we get closer to production. So getting to bi-weekly updates or weekly updates, doing a lot more
Mhm.
live streams, and inviting more people to the facility here to see what we're doing.
Okay,
It's kind of all part of the conversation. I think
great.
things get real exciting once we start rolling validation vehicles
Oh
and
yeah.
setting in production interiors, and you're touching production buttons and switches, and so that's what we're looking forward to over the next couple of months. And that's exciting.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I've been saying I want to come down as soon as the drivable PI is down there. So looking like August, September-ish. So we'll plan on that. So I'm guessing that US Capital Group has done vetting of you guys as well before they entered into this relationship. Like they wouldn't take you guys on as a client unless they thought that they could raise the funding, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Like if you guys would have gone to them like 2 years ago, they would have been like, nah, you guys aren't ready for us.
it would, they might have been interested in working with us, but it had just been on a very different deal.
I see.
So
Okay.
now that we're talking about production funding,
Mhm.
it's a very straightforward path to, hey, we need this money to fund this operation, to scale this vehicle. We have $1.75 billion worth of orders. All we need is the production equipment to make it happen. So it's a very different kind of conversation with them about what deal they structure for us than it would have been 2 years ago.
Mm.
But they have their own, due diligence process, and we go through their due diligence and checks, and obviously they're looking to sell us to their client base and through their network of brokers. And those brokers and clients want to have confidence that we've been well vetted, and we feel like we have been well vetted. And I think we're one of the most public companies out there in the tech world for sure. We share a lot of information. I think there's lots of discoverable information about us out there. So I think that's made for a different kind of conversation with U.S. Capital, because most of the companies they work with, there's just not a lot of public information, and you don't know a lot about them. So you got to dig a little deeper.
Mhm.
But they've been to the facility, they've driven around. We had the tequila event with them, and then they
Okay,
went
so
to,
that was US Capital Group at the
yeah,
tequila event.
that was U.S. Capital Group.
I see. Got it.
Great tequila at Califino here in San
Uh-huh.
Diego. And,
Yeah, it looked like a fun event.
yeah,
Okay. All right. I think that's all I got, Chris. Thank you for so much for your time.
it's only like 42 minutes, man. You got to have more questions than that.
Uh, well, you got anything else to tell us?
No, I think I'm just excited to get to the point where we're starting to see more tangible stuff,
Yeah.
and really start to put our last 2 years worth of effort into action.
Mhm.
And the problem with designing for high volume production is you got to wait longer. If we were designing for low volume production, you'd probably be able to see stuff a lot quicker.
Yeah.
It's definitely built the anticipation for me and everybody around here to get these first parts and see it. But it's also a lot greater sense of accomplishment, because we know it can go that much bigger and that much awesomer when we really start to ship a lot of vehicles out of here. So,
Yeah.
40 vehicles a day being right around the corner is a great place to be. So,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's crucial that that people see a PI build soon, because like there is this huge community of people that are very, very excited about Aptera. And they've been waiting for years now. And I think there's a small percentage that's kind of losing hope at this point. And the longer it goes, that small percentage gets bigger. And
yeah.
so I think seeing a PI build will really re-energize everyone. And so,
Well, we're thankful for the support that we've had, and we're super humbled that amazingly smart and talented people have put their dollars to work in Aptera to see this vision happen. And we're awesomely grateful that people have kind of given us the leeway to work through the pandemic, to work through some of the funding constraints that we've had, to get to a point now that we have a really great story and a finished vehicle and an economy that doesn't seem like it's going down the crapper, so we can get some financial support.
mhm.
And now's the time where we put all those pieces of the puzzle together. So I would just tell people to stay tuned and stay engaged with our story. And if you loved us a couple years ago when you made the reservation, hopefully you're going to love us even more in the next few months, because you're going to see a lot of tangible stuff about us pushing to production. And I know that if you order 20,000, that you're still even more ways away from receiving your vehicle.
Right.
But seeing the first vehicles drive around and getting the kind of press we're going to get from those vehicles, and having some events at the factory so you can come down and see us before you get your actual vehicle. Hopefully being able to do a US tour where we take the first production vehicles around and have pop-ups in major cities. We'll hopefully get the vehicle close to you, and just thankful that people are continuing to stay supportive and excited to share our story over the next coming months as we push to production. So your channel has been an amazing resource in keeping people informed, and it's given us a great feedback gateway, because you bring up stuff in your videos. Sometimes I'm like, where the hell did he get that? Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's exactly right. How didn't you know that? But you know, we get great feedback from everybody that watches your channel, and we're we're terribly grateful that you spend your time thinking about us and thinking about ways to spit out content that could help get us feedback from our community, and it's gone really well. So I
Yeah,
can't wait.
I'm happy to do my part.
Can't
And
wait to see you get that first silver play button from YouTube, and start to really scale. Imagine, you know, the first NBC nightly news drive of a production Aptera, and how many more people are going to subscribe to your channel.
oh
Uh,
yeah. I mean, if you guys succeed, our channel succeeds. So I mean, I want you guys to succeed, obviously.
Imagine how many free Aptera you're going to get from your referral program. And then you can start your own race series, and then you can have a
Yeah.
dual channel. So one's the race series channel, one's the Aptera info channel.
Yeah, no, we got all kinds of plans. Like one of the things I want to do is like have like, since it's right to repair is one of the things that we really love about Aptera, people are gonna like submit their repair videos and be like, hey,
Oh
here's how
yeah.
you do this and here's how you do that. And so that would be like we want to be a resource for that kind of stuff. And like mods and like you can modify your Aptera to do this, or like here's this aftermarket thing. Like there'll be a whole ecosystem that grows up around this thing. I think like probably one of the most engaged fan bases. You guys have one of the most engaged fan bases of
Oh yeah.
almost any
Yeah.
product out there. So it's pretty remarkable actually.
Marketing does reports, and we have the most engaged social media just under Tesla and Mercedes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you
Exactly.
know, think of all the other brands you've heard of in the automotive EV space. We're third.
Right.
In
And
engagement.
and you guys don't even have a production vehicle. Like once there's a production vehicle driving around, that those numbers gonna go through the roof, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla, they've got, over 1 million vehicles on the road. Mercedes just spending a ton of money on marketing.
Mhm.
We don't really have a marketing budget. We have a communications budget.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see that people, are really talking about Aptera and getting excited about our future. And, I think it'll only get better over the next 6 months. And once we start to hand people vehicles and they start to talk about it and live stream and have channels like yours cover them, it's going to be an exciting time.
Can't wait till September or whenever that
Awesome.
PI vehicle is.
Can't wait to have you here at the shop to see it.
All right. Good talking to you. Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thanks, everybody.